How you doing?
Everything great. How are you?
Good, good,
Good.
good.
Nice.
So you're in camp right now. You're training one of the baddest men in the world with Alex Pereira. Tell us about how that's going.
Bro, that I know Pereira for a long time ago, right? So more than 10 years before we trained together. I was the first one who take him to fight against Easy in a kickboxing match.
Mm,
And now I'm back after 10 years. I'm back to work with him. That I can say that's not so much different than as before, you know.
mm,
Like this guy is still the same, his same way, so it's easy, not easy, but like I'm used to him, you know, and his style.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. So where are you guys training out of right now for people who aren't familiar?
Uh, we are in Connecticut in Teixeira Gym.
Nice.
Yeah,
So what do the days look like? The training? Are you guys start at what time and finish? And give us some insight on what that looks like, a day in the
yeah.
life.
Normally he does like two trains a day, and then we train the first train at 11. Right.
Yeah.
Then second training at the evening, and sometimes when he feel tired, he take a rest. Um, Always depends on his condition and the week, right? Like so,
Mm,
Glover Teixeira is the head of the team, so he know how to handle in a good way that that you
mm,
not like cross the line. You understand what I mean? Need to push him, but cannot cross the line.
mm. What's the hardest part working with Alex right now?
Hardest. I don't say hardest because to be sure, some person think that work with elite fighters is difficult, but I think is to be sure. I think it's easier because he know what he need to do. So we just sharp what he already do very good. Like okay, let's
Mm,
sharp what he knows how to do.
mm. Did you guys grow up together? Give us some background on like how you guys met and this and that.
Sorry.
You and Alex, did you grow up together? Give us some insight on how you guys kind of connected and first got working together.
Oh, yeah. First we start to train, right? I trained with him, right? I was fighter at that time, and then we worked together for a long time. Then we
Mm,
leave at the gym, and because I know his style, I start to help him as coach. That's how I become a coach. I was
mm,
not coach before,
mm,
right? I just start to help him,
mm,
and then everything coming up, and then coming easy fight, all these things, and everything going up.
mm. Now, from the Alex that you know now to the Alex that you knew 10 years ago, I guess there's a huge change. What's the biggest thing you notice the difference in Alex 10 years later?
His power, bro. Like I don't understand this guy. Every time his power increase, I don't know
Yeah,
if because he's heavier than before,
yeah.
and his precision and power is still going up. I didn't see like going down. And
Mm,
anyway, like he's stronger and he have more accurate in the punch and in everything he throw. Like I think it's because the experience too. So he know how to throw. He know how to strike without like expend too much energy.
mm,
That's
mm.
crazy.
So right now, your big thing is striking, right? You're a
Yes.
striking coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's something that right now, you guys are kind of really working on when it comes to the striking, like something technique, or is there anything you can share with us that you think is, something that's really instrumental that we're gonna see in the future from Alex?
Bro, it's like I say, right? Like now he's already 37, right? There is not much time to teaching new skill, new things like this and that. We just sharp what he already know how to do very well.
Mm,
Alex have many tools on his box. He knows many things, but he's kind of the guy. He gonna use the necessary for the fight, right?
mm,
Because MMA is different than kickboxing. In
mm,
kickboxing, you can show more your arsenal, throw different spinning kicks, all these things. But when we talk about MMA, that we need to be more conservative,
mm,
right?
mm,
So I don't think we're gonna see. Oh, he will bring some new stuff like this and that. He's a very spontaneous guy, right? So maybe can he can show something else, but it's not something that we really planned together before.
Mm. So you have a background, working with, obviously police officers.
Hmm.
Give us some insight on like, that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. After work with Alex, right? That I was invited to move to China to work with the Chinese police.
Mm,
So I can say that's the time I really became a trainer, right?
mm,
Because before I was just a guy who helped him, and
mm,
I was still as a fighter, right? So since I moved to China at that time was like 2000, 2016, 2017. Then I'm start to become a coach, like fully coach, right? And then start to work with the police.
mm,
So when I moved to their Beijing,
mm,
they gave me a team. I say, hey, you train this team. They're gonna represent the China police, and they need to learn how to kickboxing.
mm,
Because they just know Sanda kickboxing, Chinese kickboxing is totally different. Then my work is basically adapt the Chinese kickboxing to Western kickboxing,
mm,
right? And then so I'm stay there for 4 years in China.
mm.
4 years.
How did you like China?
China is nice, guy, but then China is not that bad. Many
Yeah,
people think that yes, depends where. Like I live in three places in China:
yeah.
Beijing, Zhuhai, Chengdu.
Mm,
So it's totally different,
mm,
right? I can say
mm,
that I prefer Chengdu. Chengdu is nice.
mm,
Zhuhai have a very clean air. Like the air is very very good, and I like it. I like it.
mm.
China is not
And,
that bad.
and what's the MMA scene like out there in China for people who don't know? Give us some insight on that. Is it big? Is it a big deal out there?
Bro, MMA in China is growing up,
Yeah.
kickboxing and MMA. The point is because the media inside China is closed, so many people don't know what's going on by there.
Mm,
But if you see the competitions between them, well, their level was like increased a lot. I been in China last year, they improved a lot, a lot. They improve it every year. They improve very fast. They're very smart. They're very how to say they are very smart to observe new knowledge. If
mm,
someone come to China to teach, they are open mind to learn something new.
mm, mm. And what's in terms of like, do you see anybody that you work with that could potentially be, maybe a UFC contender from China? Like I don't see a lot of Chinese descent in the UFC. Can you give us some insight on that?
uh no, because in there I work with kickboxing, right? So one of the guys I trained before, he became the first one in 67 kilogram
Mm,
in kickboxing already, but I don't think so they have a plan to move to MMA or something like this.
mm,
And I never work with like big MMA teams in China.
mm,
So I cannot say.
mm. What's it like working with the police officers? Are they pretty like they're they follow are they very competitive against each other? Like, can you give us some background on that?
Yeah, bro, they have a structure. They have like a very straight structure that like they cannot go outside the line.
Mm, mm,
That time I work with around 20 boys, right? I work
mm,
with 20 boys, and then we need to push them every day, like check their weight like every week. So every Monday we come, we check their weight. They cannot be so fat, like so small. I need to check their food because have chicken inside kitchen inside their gym. So it's very professional, bro. It's very professional. I think it just came from the military and communism things. They are very like straight, like
mm,
is to be sure is the best place I worked at before. Is
mm,
for the teacher it's become easier to work because you have a process, you have like everything that in a good segment. It's different when you work in Brazil or if you work in Thailand. You
mm.
understand?
And
It's
how
very good structure.
how important is the nutrition and the supplements for kickboxers?
Is it okay?
Yeah, I just had a bird fall on my car here. Was
Damn.
it a pine cone? It was a
Yeah.
pine cone. It was a pine cone. Yeah. So you never know in LA, you know? You never know.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you using any supplements yourself right now?
Yeah, I like to use creatine.
Mm.
That I always keep using creatine and some multivitamins. When I have some whey protein, I keep using that. That's the basic for me. Even I'm not training, I'm using creatine.
How about the Nutrabolics? Did you ever get that package I sent you?
No, I didn't get yet. Like I'm
Yeah.
waiting for. They say that when I arrive, they're gonna give to me. Uh,
Nice. Are you when you're working with, different kickboxers, are you also working with like say like the UFC, like, different sort of champions and stuff like that? Are you working a lot with their nutrition, or are you just working with them on the striking?
It depends much where and who I'm supporting. Like some fighters I just do give the pads. Some fighters I'm really the trainer. Some fighters I need to take care of everything. So depends who.
Mm,
Because some fighters they're already very independent. They know how to eat. They understand about nutrition. So it's easier, right? But some fighters, for example, the Chinese fighters, I need to be all the time close to them and say, hey, you cannot eat this. You need to eat that. You need to do some supplements.
mm,
So depends.
mm.
Depends much.
And out of, obviously, Alex is a huge name that everybody knows, Alex Pereira. But I mean, outside of Alex, is there any other names that you've worked with? For people who aren't familiar with, yourself, can you give us some insight on that?
Yeah, that I have the Alex. I work now with Alex. I worked before with Cesar Almeida. He's in UFC
Mm,
too. Tawan Chai now in Thailand, right? He's a very very good guy, very famous guy in Thailand now.
mm,
Sue Black is one championship fighter too. That's very famous one too. Funny was BKFC champion in Thailand. So I
mm,
work with many of them, like in different rules.
mm. So, where out of all of the places that you've obviously been in training camps, do you have a favorite place? Like, if you were to say you could pick anywhere to go and train people, where would it be?
Uh,
Where, anywhere?
in Thailand for sure.
Yeah.
Thailand. Yeah, Thailand is easier, is cheaper.
Mm,
If the guy already has some good contract and with some show like UFC One Championship, whatever, I think Thailand is a good place to keep you in shape. Because
mm,
the weather is good, the food is good, like it's not expensive place to make a camp. That's why
mm,
many you can see many UFC fighters come more and more to Thailand,
mm.
you know.
Whereabouts in Thailand? Like for somebody like myself, if I wanted to get into, kickboxing, MMA, where in Thailand should I go?
If you looking for something Westerner, right, like MMA, kickboxing, something like this, jiu-jitsu, I think is better in Phuket, right,
Okay.
south of Thailand. But
Mm,
if you want to see the traditional Muay Thai, that is the best place is Bangkok for sure.
mm.
Yeah.
And what's it like in Brazil? Give us some insight on that.
Bro, in Brazil, it's curious because Brazilians in general, they have a good knowledge and nutrition and fitness and training system. The only thing is difficult for us is about opportunity.
Mm,
But in general, we have good knowledge. But at the same time, the guy need to train, and then he need to go to work, and he need to make like sometimes two works, and then when have time he go train again. He cannot only focus on training. In
mm,
Brazil, it's not like this. You cannot focus on training. We need to have like side works. This make too much harder for us. It's different than Thailand. In Thailand, you can fight, you can earn money, and and from this money you can survive. You can pay a rent, you can eat, you can have like a decent life. But in Brazil, no way. Brazil, we don't have this amount of fight, and they don't pay so well. So the guy need to train, he need to fight, and he need to work.
mm. I was having this conversation the other day about, certain types of fighters that are fighting strictly for money. Do you
Mhm.
see that a lot right now or do you see, with the people you're working with, people are fighting mostly for money or because they actually love it?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think it's changed, you know. I
Mm,
I even think that it's not more about money, it's about to be famous. Some people some guys they want to become a fighter because they want to become famous.
mm,
Instead of me. Because for you start to see some good decent money on the fight game, take time, take long
mm,
time. You need to work hard.
mm,
So you can see some young boys they enter and they think they're gonna get some shortcut and like, oh, I can make some money, and it's cool, you know. It's cool to show yourself as a pro fighter that make money like this and that. But bro, take time,
mm,
right?
mm,
So, but is what I say. I think that the guys today even not look more about is not look much about money, but they look about famous. You know, become famous.
mm. Do you think that, nowadays, obviously, so many up and coming people want to be fighters,
Hmm.
What are your thoughts? Like, what advice could you give somebody out there who's watching this, who's an up and coming fighter? They want to be in the UFC. They want to be a champion, whether it's kickboxing, UFC. What advice would you give them right now?
Consistency. Keep
Mm,
the consistency, because I see much up and down, up and down. The guys start and they lose, then they stop, or they win, they start to winning, and then these things get on his mind. No, I just like I say to my fighters that they need to keep the temper, you know. When
mm,
win, okay, you're gonna be happy, but it cannot be like this. Or when lose, cannot be like that. You need to keep the temper to keep a
mm,
consistency in the K here, because take time.
mm,
For you get mastering something, take a lot of time, at least
mm,
10 years, you
mm,
know. Like,
mm,
okay, you're gonna have some guys they have like they are different, they are talents, they come faster, right?
mm,
But in general, in average, you take a lot of time to get mastering something.
mm,
So if you really want to do this, like keep consistency, you know, at least, because became champion, you know, like depends in many elements. It's not all about you, it's not only about your skill, but depends where you come from, depends who is your manager, it depends on the promotion, depends on many things, you know, not depends on you, right? But at
mm,
least uh let's say that the guy cannot become champion for lack opportunity, but if if he keep going on this way, at least he gonna have a good knowledge to teach, you know. And today, if you have good knowledge teaching and our and you can speak English, you see that my English is not that good, but I can communicate with people. You can make a decent money, you
mm,
know.
mm, mm. What advice do you have for people out there who, they're going through something, and they, whatever it is, and they need to still keep going, they need to still, like, maybe they've had some sort of, death in their family, but they're in training camp. How do you get past that? Like, I'm sure you deal with that with fighters like Alex, where he just doesn't want to do something. Maybe he's had a hard day,
Uh,
whatever it is. How do you work with those type of people and help them push through?
the first thing is try to keep the mind in the moment, right? That embrace the process,
Mm,
not look much at the target. The second point is about volition. In Brazil, we call, in Portuguese, we call volição. Is about something that make you move for. When I was young, I start to fight for some reason. But when you start to growing up, this reason that make you start to fight, that's not you're not gonna keep you more. So you need to look for some other reasons to keep you going on, because the life change, the things change, your mind gonna change. So that thing that make you going up, you need to looking for. Sometimes you need to change, right? For if you have a reason to become a fighter, probably after 10 years that this reason gonna change already, because I'm grow up, I'm another person, everything change,
mm,
you know. So you we need to find, we need to find some I don't know how to say in English, but you need to find some reasons, different reasons for, not keep you like locked in just one reason. Then the second point is like embrace the process. Don't think much about the target, but like live day by day. Not only in fight, but everything in life.
Mm. Do you have somebody that as you were growing up that you looked up to in the fight game? Like who was somebody that you were really inspired by,
Someone who I work.
or that you haven't worked, but like as you were growing up, you were watching, like you know MMA or boxing or whatever. Who was the fighter who inspired you?
Uh, Alex for sure is the first one. Then have Glover. Glover is the guy who really inspired me. That is, since I came to America and met him like in personal, that's Glover is the amazing person, right? And his history is like is beautiful. I like him. But in the beginning, like I think the first fighter I start to follow was Bokal, right, from Thailand.
Mm.
I think it was the first fighter I start to follow, and from them I start to train and become a fighter, and then everything start.
Are you still fighting these days?
No, no, I'm retired already, like more than 5 years.
Nice. Do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
find that like when you're working with Alex that he, push you as well? Like, do you find like you're becoming a better coach?
Yes, because it was interesting, right? Because when I'm started training him, I'm supposed to train together with him, right? But then I was a kind of lazy, and I say, hey, someone need to check the train, right? And then I push them to train. Then I'm just look. That's how I start to become a coach because I was just lazy. I don't want to train anymore.
Yeah.
Like I was already thinking of retirement and all these things, and saying, I don't want to be involved more in martial arts. I want to do another thing in my life. Then he came to my home and say, "Hey, bro, let's go. Let's help me to train." And I'm start to help him, and then the things came naturally. That's was not something that I planned.
Mm.
Yeah, I just natural.
When when you're training somebody like a champion, like Alex, for example, and obviously, they're already at a certain level, right? So it's like, like you said, just going to sharpen it up. But is there something that you could do? Like, is there something you could share, like an exercise or something like, do you get outdoors or something that really you find can even push a champion, whether it's running uphill in the desert, whether it's ice bath, whether it's like, is there anything that you do with your fighters, especially the ones that are already at a peak level that even like, even pushes them where they're like it's, they're just being pushed to the brink? What do you do?
I think the main thing that I work with most of fighters that I work before is pushing the bag work. Most of fighters they are very lazy to bag work, but like need to do, pushing the bag work and repetition, repetition, repetition. You get something that you're already good to do. For example, if you're good in the left hook, go in the front of the bag and you're gonna repeat like 1,000 times, like 10,000 times. Repeat, 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 repeat. I think that's the best way, because it's very specific, like there is no is what I say. There is no shortcut. In the beginning, you need to repeat, repeat, repeat. Is repetition. So go to the front of the bag and repeat. If you have a coach to guide you, that's better, right? For you start because sometimes you start to repeat, but you're doing wrong. If you have a coach to correctly you in the time you're doing the bag, that's the best. But the bag is your best friend. If you're a fighter, the bag, punch bag is your best friend for sure.
Mm, mm. What what advice do you have for people out there who are maybe they've coming off of a loss right now? They're a fighter, they just lost, they're kind of down, what advice do you have for those type of people out there who are, down and out right now?
I think the first advice I give is like take a break, let the calm down because you cannot take a big decision when have many things on your head, right? So take a break, go rest. Then when the things going down, then you can see you can see better, right? When
Mm,
you just you're in the middle of a storm, you cannot see well.
Mm,
So if you you start to feel that your career start going down, take a break. Take a break. Go travel. Go read. Go to other kind of activities.
mm,
Then when your head's clear, then you back and see, okay, what's going on.
mm,
You know.
mm.
I think that's the best way to come back.
Do you have anything that you wanted to talk about today?
Mm, yes, I can say about I'm gonna have now a seminar in Washington D.C.
Mm,
Right, I want in there. I want to share a little more how I work with Pereira,
mm,
how we work in distance, timing, all these small things that people don't know, right? That
mm,
who see by videos they cannot understand. So I invite everybody who can come to Washington D.C. to participate this seminar.
mm,
You're welcome.
mm.
They're gonna be
When
that.
is the
They're gonna be
seminar?
great. Gonna be after fight. So I'm gonna stay in Washington D.C. from 10 to 14 March.
Nice, nice. And is Alex going to be at the seminar, or who's going to be at the seminar?
No, just me. I go there. I have some friends in there that have a gym.
Nice.
Yes, I'm gonna give this seminar.
So, if people want to get in touch with you for the seminar, they should send you a DM, or where's the information?
You can send DM or on my bio. On my bio, have the link. You can enter in the link and then have all the information in there. You can send by there.
Nice, nice. Did you have any questions for me before we wrap up today?
Question for you.
Mm.
Now I'm curious what kind of supplements you sent to me because I still not get.
Well, I sent you the Supernova Legacy. I sent you
Mm-hmm.
the feed bars,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent you some protein. So I figured those three staples, you can't go wrong with those.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they'll arrive soon. I mean, with the whole tariffs and everything, and has been a bit of an issue because we're from Canada. So sometimes when we ship to the States,
Uh,
it gets held.
I
There's
understand. I
issues, and
understand.
we've been
Great.
yeah. So I mean, it could be. I haven't checked on the package myself, but there's likely if you haven't got it yet, it's probably still in customs. Sometimes they can hold a package for a while. It
Uh,
can be a while. So
oh, I understand. I understand.
yeah. But how's everything else in terms of your personal life in general? Like, do you have anything that you want to share at all before we wrap up?
Yeah, no, life is great now. I got like this offer to come help Pereira. Then from here I go to Brazil to see my family. 1 year that I didn't see my family. Then back to my home, Thailand. Right, I live by there, so that's
Wow,
everything
nice.
great. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, hey, thanks for coming on Perform Podcast. You were a great guest. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting. I appreciate that you invited me to come. I'm very happy to share a little. And sorry for my lack of English. My English is
Oh,
but
it's
I can't
great.
communicate so right. But
It's all good. You gave some great tips today. I'm sure you'll make a big difference for some people out there.
thank you so much. Thank you
All
for
right.
inviting.